Everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are joining us from around the world. And happy new month. This is the beginning of November, and I welcome us into the new month, into new beginnings, into good news as we even enter into the month properly. And I pray that all our heart desires is actually granted. So, welcome again. I am super energetic about today's session, today's podcast session with this very special guest, which I will be unveiling soon. But yes, as you are joining us, whether it's from Facebook or from YouTube, wherever it is that you are hearing my voice from right now, um, I just want you to put in the chat where you are joining us from. Let me know where you are joining us from, and maybe there is an expectation about today's session, about today's podcast, because our news have gone up and down. We've set the flyers since the beginning of the week, and you might have thought about it. So if you have any expectation, if you have any question, you should drop it in the comment, and by God's grace, we'll be able to answer it live today. So, good evening. I greet you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so beaming with joy because of the impact I know this conversation today we have, right? So, if you are new here, this is Beyond Borders. This is Beyond Borders podcast where we tell real stories of extraordinary scholars. Yes, scholars that are actually living or walking the talk, right? And they are not just talkers; they are doers. Um, and I'm super excited to welcome you to this special edition. Special because you will see the person that is actually coming today is a man of timber and caliber. He's done so much extraordinary works and is extraordinary himself. So if you have, I would like to know, number one, where you are joining us from. You can just put it in the chat, and then also, what is your expectation on today's episode? You've already seen the topic, the title. What is your expectation? And if you have any specific question you want him to unfailingly talk on, please don't hesitate to drop it in the chat, and meet with people as well. Let's see how excited you are. So today's episode is one you don't want to miss. So you can also share with your friends that are on this same journey of someone who, number one, two people we actually gain a lot from this session today. Number one set of people are those that are still on the lookout for opportunities, that are applying for. It might be Erasmus, it might be Chivney. Okay, Chivney has closed for the year. It might be Commonwealth, it might be MasterCard, it might be DAD, anything. Why? Because the same mindset you need for all these things is the same thing. And that's why here we believe so much in positioning rather than chasing scholarships, right? So that is one mindset. That's why this session will actually help you to pick the mind of someone that has walked the talk. He is not only an Erasmus scholar, he was an Erasmus scholar, and right now also a Marie Curie Fellow, right? Doing his PhD. So we'll hear from the wealth of his knowledge and understanding as well. So and then the second person, so you can share with those categories of people. The second set of people are those who are presently also studying. He has something, they also can now leverage. How did it transition from here to there? So they will also gain a lot from this conversation. So if you have someone studying abroad right now, you can send it to them. And if you have someone also aspiring to, you can send it to them. And without further ado, because when you talk, like when you are bringing and doing something valuable and impactful, like time just fly by. And I want to unveil our special guest of honor right now. And before I even do that, I want to shout out to my sister, Irene, for actually connecting us together. So my guest today is Arome Ibrahim, a Marie Curie Fellow and former Erasmus Mundus Scholar, is an immersive technologist who studied across 3 countries on a fully funded scholarship and is now helping shape the future of learning and work through AI and extended reality. So, uh, all right, please, now drum roll and clapping. I should be hearing your clap, your excitement to hear from this man. See what I just read about his introduction. It's actually, ha, I was struggling to compress it because if I say I want to read, oh my God, we'll be here. But you just after the session, just search him and you will see what I'm talking about. So I just really didn't want to waste time on this. That's why I did it like that. So please help me welcome our guest today. You're welcome. Hey,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
me, I'm clapping like yay. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. You are welcome today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank God. Like you said, it's a new month and it's already kicking off with a lot of good news and testimonies. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for accepting to do this. I know you have a lot of things, on your calendar, right? But you still saying, "Oh, I actually want to show up here." Is super commendable, and we are really grateful to everyone. So yeah. So let's start with something light to just warm up. I just don't want to go into that gym. And of course, it's just a conversation, right? If you would tell us what is one fun or unexpected thing people don't usually know about you.
Um, I think my interest in cooking, right? People think I'm a very like a bookworm, but really I'm more into enjoying good times. So cooking, movies, just enjoying nature as much as possible, right? So I often tend to disconnect once in a while and enjoy the pleasures of maybe self entertainment or self activities.
Oh my God, that is interesting. I wasn't expecting that cooking. Okay, I might be expecting the others, but cooking, man, that is so good. That is so good. I'm happy to hear that. And okay, so I just have 2 more, just for fun. How would you
Mhm.
describe your journey so far? What shaped your worldview or and career path before Erasmus?
I would say I would say the television first because watching TV back then when I was younger and seeing, for example, watching National Geography, seeing places around the world, and I told myself like the world is big, right? And
Mm,
we have a lot of places to see and explore, right?
yeah.
So the goal was okay, how can I position myself to be able to access some of these locations and the opportunities that they offer? And
Mm,
for me, I was not like the top of the class when I was in university. My goal was to make sure everybody was good and people were doing best at what they're doing, right? So I was more or less like the encourager or the leader or the backbone, right? So the first class were at the front. I was there supporting everybody to make sure they go along, right? So I moved into this leadership or community engagement activities quite early,
wow.
right? So I was volunteering for so many initiatives, both online and physical, and I think that opened me up to opportunities abroad, right? So I was able to connect with experts in the field in my space, and opportunities came. I was able to leverage on that, right? So for me, I would say positioning, right, and always believe, right, no matter
Oh
how
my.
big, crazy it is, just position and believe, and it will come to pass.
Yes, so we have started. I said let us start from small things, but you have taken us to bones right now. Because sincerely, this is why this channel that is what we believe in. I'm not of the opinion that we should be chasing and chasing scholarship, chasing opportunities. It is all about positioning. And you just
Yeah.
mentioning that, I was like, yeah, that is one mindset shift that has helped me, just scale impact in a lot of ways, actually. And in actually just gaining, there's one video I made one time, still on my channel, around how to attract opportunities. And you have succinctly just described everything right now. And for everyone listening, he said something that you might not pick, but I will reiterate it. He said, he, in quotes, wasn't like the best in class that time. So that might be a consolation for you right now. But we still get into the juice of the story, right? But it's just to see that if you can see it, right, you can actually have it. And he said something, he said, believe in the dream, believe in it, no matter how big it is. And of course, you have to do the work, which I will take you, I won't bother repeat what he has said. So now, the last fun thing for us to just know a bit more about you is, if your story from beginning to end were a movie title or a book title, what will it be and why?
Wow, that's a deep one. I think I would borrow from Sinek's title, but I'll more or less rephrase it. More or less like the title would be the journey to my why, like the journey to my why,
Why?
right? So why did I do what I did? Why did I make the impact that I make? Right.
Hmm.
So the journey from start to finish, and now fully leveraging on my why, because like Miles Monroe will say, everybody is on earth. God did not just
Hmm.
create us because He was creating. No, He created everybody to make a mark, one way or the other, right? And the goal is to make sure that before we leave this planet or leave this earth, we try as much as possible to change the lives of others. It might not be as big, but just do something today that will make somebody's life tomorrow be better.
Whoa. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my God, you are busting my brain right now. Yes, because you're actually reiterating everything, what I believe, what I stand for. And this thing you talked in passing, in just 1 second or one minute rather, is what you can build a framework around, right? You can live on and make sure that um you actually on that journey. See, the journey to my why. I love it, actually.
I'm even writing it down, said like honest.
Yes, yes. And those are things, these are things that, in the spur of the moment, we bring out a lot from our depth. And
Yeah.
that's why I always tell people, don't worry about when you are consuming things. When you will need it most, it will come out of you. And I'm
Mm,
actually putting it out to everyone. So right now, um, from when you started, right, till now, if your journey were to be a book title or a movie title, please let me know in the comment section. And of course, he mentioned one book. I think the book he is referring to is Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
yeah.
Please go and read it. After I read that book, everything changed. Sincerely, everything. The way, and it was even one thing I built, a framework I used even in application. The Start With Why is always in leadership, it's in business, it's in marketing, it's in sales. I saw it, I said, yes, you can actually use it in scholarship application,
Yes,
right?
yes. Funny enough, the scholarship interview, they were like, "Why do you want this scholarship or why do you want this program?" And I was like, "It's because it's part of my why, right? It's part of my journey,
Yes,
right? So journey to my
yes.
why."
The journey to you, I mean, I love it because, and when you know why, I made, there is a whole webinar I actually did breaking down this thing, why is important. And I
Mm,
was connecting everything to, it is not only for now, it is
mhm.
even for later. When you
Yeah,
start seeing a lot of things, because I think we were discussing, we are having a chit chat before we started. See, we've not even started, we have a lot to talk about. But and we were talking about how you will actually face some challenges But what's keep you grounded is just your understanding and clarity on your why you are
Mm.
doing something, on your purpose, which you talked about as well. And then the last part, which is your vision, where you are going, right? So I won't talk about that. Anyone interested can always find that. But I'm super grateful, for making mention of that, on purpose. I used to say a phrase, we are here on purpose for purpose,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that has been, and one thing you mentioned about impact, making the life of someone else better. Sincerely, when you find purpose, you actually find the cure to depression. That
Mm.
that one, I won't expand on it, but let's leave it like that. So, because of our time, let's just go into the Erasmus Scholar and Scholarship journey for you. So, how did you first hear about the program, and then what convinced you to apply?
Yeah. So, funny enough, I think for the second time, I found out about the program in the WhatsApp group. Right. I think somebody just shared it. Right. So I'm in some of this scholarship group. Right. So most times it's been in the right place at the right time. You get, and
Mm,
positioning yourself in places where opportunities are being shared. You get,
yes.
don't be just an island on your own. Be around where opportunities are shared, and before you know it, will come to you. Right. So for my first scholarship, my second scholarship, it was shared on a WhatsApp group. And
Wow.
funny enough, I tried to go and track back who shared it. I could not find it. You get, so so it's quite funny, but I found it on the WhatsApp group. I clicked on the link. I went to the website, and it was like they made the program for me, right? Because it fitted with my current experience in business and technology, right? And also my past experience on my first degree, which was in geography. You get, so the title of the program is called Impact Entrepreneurship, and the goal for them was to create sustainable and impactful businesses that can solve some of our pressing global challenges.
Mm,
Yet, so when I saw it, I knew it was a perfect fit. I worked on my application, made sure I was not just putting in the generic submission. I poured my heart into the motivation, the document, everything was carefully drafted and revised severally, right? And yeah, I did the submission. I was selected for the interview, and it was more or less like a discussion, right? So they just wanted to understand your why you did apply to the program, what are some of the expectations, and your plans afterwards, right? So for me, I
mm,
would say I was at the right place at the right time, right?
mm,
According to the grace of God, and also making sure that I was ready for it, because I applied to like four Erasmus and I got rejected for two. I got reserved for one and I got 1 year. Right. So all you just need is 1 year, right? But for that to happen, you need to keep at it, right? Keep
mm.
better and eventually to come. Right. So that's how I got the Erasmus program.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love what you, all the submissions, right place at the right time. And
Mm-hmm.
that might mean different things for different people,
Sure.
and that's the also one of the beauty of you hearing from different people, from if you've been following this channel, when we interview someone, they will talk, their story is different from another, and that's why you also have to be very open-minded in saying, okay, where am I supposed to show up, right? And for me, it was one person that just, we were talking randomly, this is what I'm working on. And what you said, that you shouldn't be an island of knowledge and information, like you acting in solo, not wanting anybody to know your plan. Talk
Mm.
about your plan. Nobody they can take you away, can take your destiny.
Mm.
Really, that's what I believe. So don't worry about somebody actually sabotaging. No, the best they can do is even propel you forward, no
Mm.
matter how they try. So don't. So we were just talking and was like, yeah, oh, I applied for this one, I applied for that. Have you seen this one? I've not heard of it before. He sent me the link. That
Mm.
was it. Yeah, that was it. So please, let's just be open-minded, in our journey. This journey takes, you don't have to be rigid,
Yeah.
that's what I want to pass across. So thank you so much. But I want to ask a follow-up on that. Was it the first time you applied that you actually got it?
Yeah, funny enough, it was my first Erasmus application because when I got in, I knew that some people were applying like 3, 4 times and did not get it. Right, so most times it will be your first, it will be your second, it will be your third, right? But whatever stage it is, right, just be ready for it.
Awesome. Just be ready for it. And I could actually make some connection with how you were already preparing for it,
Mm,
actually. How you're already preparing for that. And which still hinged on positioning, what
yeah.
you've done. You see, I used to actually, this is the first time I'm announcing on air, but there's a book that I'm writing, almost completing now, that is coming in the pipeline. And
Mm,
it's still talking about so much and expanding on some of these things we are talking about, positioning and
yeah.
how to actually, because that is what I was on this journey for 2 consecutive years,
Mm,
getting rejection back to back. I can reel out how many Erasmus Mundus scholarship I applied to, how I applied to DAD, applied to Chivney, applied to Commonwealth, applied to this. So when I'm talking about chasing, I know what I'm saying. It's not because I just want to, I'm doing this because Jackpot is a trend now and I want to throw myself into it. No, far be from it, so when I'm talking about the other side of positioning too, I know what it can do for you.
yeah.
I know how it can improve your own perception of yourself and much more. People's perception of you, such that opportunities gravitate towards you
Sure.
naturally of their own accord. You see,
Mm-hmm.
so I understand that, and I'm super glad we are even talking a bit about it. And when it is ready, of course, I will send to you. Just to hear
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of the things around it.
I think you writing a book is already an inspiration for me to start. Right, so with me putting this in public, right? Hopefully this time next year I should have my book out. Right.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm glad that actually spur another motivation in you. Yeah, please, and please, let's have this body of knowledge out. Yeah. So it's to help people to see that you don't have to really walk the journey alone, and you can, when you have these resources. Because for me, my why is, I'm convinced and I believe so much that when people are equipped with resources, with tools, with knowledge, they are able to reach their full potential. And
Mm,
that's what propels me to do every single thing I do daily, in saying that. And it cuts the journey, that it's actually cut it in half. Maybe you're supposed to leave this one, you get to actually go on and enjoy some slack. Let me use it like that.
if I'm
But
to add to some of the things you said, I will not tell you or I will not tell anybody that is listening that it was easy. Right. Most times I did stuff that I was not paid for. Most times I volunteered because I really wanted to get that experience, right?
mm,
So most times you might, or the only option at the table is to do stuff right for free. Right? Don't see it as slavery or you wasting your time. No, it's you are here. How can this contribute to me being here? Right?
hmm,
And when you get all these experiences and impacts, and you're before the table of people that value these stuffs, right? They'll be asking like, how are you able to do all these things, right? Because
yes.
I remember my interview, my the panel was one of the members of the panel was like, how are you able to do all these things? Like, how were you able to balance it? And I was like, it's stuff I'm passionate about, right? So the joy and the free will is there. You get, even though I was doing it for free, I was making the impact for free, but I enjoyed it.
Hmm,
And those impacts what contributed to me getting some of these opportunities because most people really value you being out there
hmm,
and you making the most to make others better, right? So don't shoot yourself down because you want to do something or you want to support an initiative. You're not being paid or you're not being given any monetary reward, right? Do it because you are passionate about it, and that will open doors for you eventually.
yeah. Yes, yes. Can I or retweet, or what can I do right now to show that yes, this is what I preach every day? I mean, it is
Mm,
sort of a reverse engineering. You see, this is where I want to go. This is where I am right now. What are the skills needed for that place I need to be? And how can I? So, there is a section in this framework I said I actually talked about. I tagged it, proof. No, don't just tell us you're passionate. How have you been passionate? Scholarship are
Mm,
not they're not looking for people that are waiting for their potential to be validated. Uh-uh. They are looking for people who are on the journey of impact and want to scale their impact.
mm,
Because until we see and have this mindset that this thing is not free money, it is an investment.
true.
Every investor wants return on investment, ROI. So, what are you bringing to the table, really? So how have you, and then for you to really convince us, we have to see what you have been doing before. Then we can
Yeah,
see, oh my God, this person have been doing this good work. If we give them this platform, this opportunity, this will scale a lot of things. That's what it is, right? And when you know the rules of the game, you can play it well.
true, true. That's true.
So yeah, for everyone back home, so that it's not like we are speaking to the walls. Let me know what is resonating with you, what you are taking from this conversation, if anything at all. And of course, you see how some of these things are actually you actually need them. All of us need them, and even for me, it is either me hearing and it's actually confirming some of those things I believe in, and it's also now resolving that yes, I'm holding on to these things, or I'm hearing some things I'm like, yeah, I have to learn from this, and I'm taking it with me as well in my journey. So for me, I'm also gaining so much. So if you want to share with people and so that they also hear, because what have we learned today? If you make one person's journey even a little bit, a
Mm-hmm.
tiny percentage better, it's you can sleep better during the night.
It comes back, yeah. It comes back, right? So my advice for that, what I always tell people is just make sure you can contribute to somebody's journey. That
Mm,
like, this person was one of the people that kickstarted my impact or my growth, right? And
mm,
there's that joy that comes out of it. It's like the same joy that comes when you win a soul for Christ, right? You
mm,
contribute to somebody's journey being better. For example, there's a friend of mine. We attended school together, university, and she wanted to go into data, right? So data and AI, but she did not really know where to start, right? So small tips here and there, and she has started like she has even started an initiative where she's training young girls and kids in Python, in C plus or C sharp, right? So just start, right? Have a roadmap and a timeline, and by the end of it, you'll be amazed at the output.
awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I will actually not feel so bad if we can't continue, like finish all our questions, but I mean, these are some of the things that are needed to hear, and just here and there, I know people are picking what pertains to them, right? But let's go. What part of the application process for you was the most challenging, and how did you actually navigate it? For someone out there that are like, okay, maybe it's this SOP that's just giving me headache, or is actually one document that they say, or recommendation letter, or it is the interview phase that's this thing and that one. What for you? What was that, and how were you able to navigate that part?
Yeah, I would say application for maybe a scholarship is in two phases, right? The first one is to convince them to select you for the interview, right?
Mm,
And afterwards is to convince them that you were the one that wrote those stuffs on those documents, right? So I think the most important phase is to convince them to be selected for the interview.
mm,
And I think my challenges that I had was the motivation letter and the references. The
mm,
reference was not really a challenge because during my time in school, I I was more or less like the assistant class rep for my option, and that enabled me to have access to my lecturers and supervisors. So that relationship was already there. You get so
mm,
calling them for references and recommendation was quite easy. But my advice for
mm,
people who are not maybe in leadership positions in school is to try and be um, visible to your supervisors whereby they can see and know you. Because when you reach out to them and say, "Oh, you need a reference," they'll be like, "Ah, who is this one?" Or they cannot really pour out what they know about you in the document. So in school, I know school can be crazy and it can be a lot, but try to be somebody that is friendly, that is
Yeah.
open, can also be seen by your supervisors and lecturers, right? It really helps you when you're looking for a very strong recommendation letter because that really helped me. Right? It was easy for me to get those documents. Even if I want to get one now, it will be easy for me because they are always supportive and always available, right? So just be a nice person, be somebody that is open, and it will come easy. And the second one, like I mentioned, is the motivation. I think that's like the hardest part, trying to pour your experiences inside maybe 2 pages document you get.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my advice is try and leverage on the power of storytelling. You get, you need to
Mm.
know that maybe your father did this or your mother did this or you are poor. No, they don't really want to. They don't really want to hear about that. What value are
Mm.
you bringing to the table? How will this scholarship help you to be better? How will this scholarship help you to attain your goals, right, and make an impact in the world? You can
Mm.
mention that my father is poor, my mother is poor. No, I'm
Yeah.
bringing value to the table, right? And value is shown from your journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your experiences, your research experiences. And what most people don't understand is, or let me just give this scenario, right? There's a first class graduate here,
Mm.
all they know is book, 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 and that's
Mm.
it. And there's a two one here that, well, not too good with book, but they have impact outside of school. So they
Stories.
volunteer for initiatives, they take up leadership roles, they take courses that are related to the programs they're applying for. Trust me, if the panel is to pick one, they'll go for this person, right? Because
Sure.
they want somebody that can bring value both in the classroom and outside the classroom, right? Because learning is a holistic experience. It's not just in the four
Mm.
walls of the classroom. Learning is what happens outside the classroom and how you can contribute to the academic community within the university, right? So my advice is leverage on storytelling, right? Portray your value and your goals, and they'll be willing to support you.
Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. I love the action. And yeah, shout out to you, Irioluwa. He said, let me quickly just spotlight that. He said, learn the importance of being genuinely interested in helping people. Yes, it's all about impact. It's all about impact. And I love how you have shared your story on what parts were most challenging. And actually, everybody or most people, that is one of the mountain that they say, oh, that seems as if it is insurmountable, but it actually is. And of course, your recommendation on storytelling, and especially you not saying, oh, I'm poor. There are some need-based scholarship, but
Yeah.
most ones we have right now, they are not need-based. No, they are merit-based. So you want to tell us, what are you doing? What's impact? And that flow, yeah, also follows this framework that I told you I actually made. So it is more about impact, showing us the proof. So it's not saying I'm passionate. That time where I was collecting and rejection back to back, I'll be like, I grew up from an agrarian. Who sent you?
I don't care.
When I read it recently, I was just laughing at myself. I grew up from an agrarian community, and
Okay.
actually, that's kind of you wanting to depict that. Actually, I don't have money. Have pity on me, but no, they are not about pity. Someone that has 1 million to invest right now is not looking for where he can squander it. He's looking for the best place that will gives she or he the maximum return on investment. And I love the dichotomy you brought between and then this other two one and first class that just relies solely on that academics what's it called, certificate. No, but it
Yeah.
goes beyond that. It's now beyond it's not about impact. And I think that's even what is shifting my focus even for um current international student as well, right? But we'll
Mm.
get there. We'll get there doing soon. I assume. So I just want you to talk to someone who wants to apply for scholarship or presently, like me, maybe has been applying and then but feel lost or has faced multiple rejections. What would you tell them?
I think my advice would be just reflect on certain things. Yeah, I won't lie to you. I've gotten countless of rejections. I think you reach a stage in your life that you you see rejections as just a notification, right? That's it. You receive it. Sometimes I get rejection and I send a very good thank you. You get because we move, right? So rejections will come, right? They will definitely come, but you will learn certain lessons and you learn how to be better at it,
Mm-hmm.
right? My advice is even if you are at the moment trying to apply for a scholarship, try to understand what are the core values of the programs you're applying for,
Mm,
right? Not just on the website, go beyond the website, go and see what the administrators are doing, what are their interests, what are their research on, right? Go beyond the program and immerse yourself like you're in the program. You get, and with that you'll be able to share more points on why you really want to be a part of it, not just because I want to take the course or because I like the country. No, right? This is what I want to contribute. This
mm,
is how I'm going to contribute to it,
mhm,
right? And this is how to help my long-term journey, right? So
mhm.
my advice is just have a strategy
Yeah,
and have a supportive system. You get to talk to people,
yeah,
share your thoughts, share your resources, right? Reach out to some of the scholars. Some of them are willing to support and help. Yeah.
yeah,
So just have a strategy that your documentations are good, right? You you are leveraging on good storytelling and
yeah,
you're also immersing yourself in the program, right? There are requirements, very important. Requirements are there because you need to tick them off in your application.
yeah.
And really, you need God's grace because that's the most important one. Right? We cannot do without God's grace. And I guess the best will come out of it, right? But just be ready for where you want to go to, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
I think in 2022, I still don't know. Okay, uh, maybe I have an idea, but I had the opportunity to go to Saudi Arabia to be invited by the King of Saudi Arabia for a program on AI, right? And
Wow.
this is somebody in Nigeria going on an all expense paid trip to Saudi Arabia. You get,
Wow.
and the places I sat, trust me, people with money cannot even go there because
Hmm.
those places are just for those that are really making a mark, right?
Hmm.
And most times it goes beyond money. So my advice is enjoy what you do,
Hmm.
right? Share it as much. The world is so big. Somebody out there
Yeah.
will connect with you and be like, oh, they love what you're doing. They want to support you. They might not support you with money. They might support you with access to their network, access to
Yeah.
opportunities, and before you know, you'll be moving. You get so just start. Build like a synergy between your interest and where you want to go to, and with time
Hmm.
you just list it.
Oh my God. Did you feel that? Please, if you felt that, I mean, these are gems. These are things you pay for in a master class, actually. And when they say buy the truth and sell it not. These are some of the wisdom they're actually talking about. You might not see it placed about on the street anyhow, but these are things that actually was it that distinguish men from men actually. And thank you for sharing that experience of, and congratulations. I know it's been a long time, and of course you've even moved past it, but yeah, just saying that well done, and thank you for walking the talk, right? Not only us just talking, but we can see it in what has been done, right? And I just want to tell, for of course, I think maybe some of us here actually knows him already, but if you don't, you just I'm sorry, search his name on Google and see what's incredible. And when I saw your portfolio, I was like, man, is this man, when was this man born? And he has done such, impactful work. And it's just about love for people, love for impact, just making sure that, you leave your mark on this world, right? So thank you so much for exactly. Thank you, Nana. It says, she said, I believe, information we can buy from the market. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And yeah, so if you are watching, drop your questions. If you have anyone, drop it in the comments. He's walked this journey and knows what it takes to make it through. So just let's ask question, and you just try to do justice to that. So let's quickly move to, you've gone from scholar, to builder, creating impact through AI and then immersive tech, right? So during your Erasmus experience, what specific things did you pay attention remember career afterward? And why am I saying this? The other time I was saying two categories of people who actually gain a lot from this conversation. Those aspiring and then those that are really now presently studying as well. And there's something I got to know about. Of course, I also experienced it the first time. So I've traveled. I did a master diploma for 6 months, fully funded in Italy the first time before I came for my MSc, which was 2 years. And during that first one that I came, when you get opportunities like this and it's your first time actually coming abroad, there is that possibility, that probability that you are just so consumed in that euphoria of excitement. Oh, I left Nigeria. Maybe I even one that really got lucky. Lucky, why? Because you are really not so grounded in why. And you just got carried away because the system is even there to make you lose focus. How? What do I mean? There is the weather, there is the academics you are there for, there is registration, fees, permit of stay, there is this one, there is that one. You still have to, So you might get caught up in all these things going on that you are actually not answering the question. The one of the most important thing, what next, right? And then maybe some months to the end of the program, you're like, yes, we are here. So what do I do next? Right? So and that's I'm just telling you why I'm asking that question and why I'm super particular. And it became a burden that the next time I came, I was like, no, it will never be like that. And you know what that does, which has now become one of my personal fuel to actually put this word out, and which also what I'm doing here right now is also the fact that during that time, many people now settle. They settle for any opportunity that will make them not to go back to home, wherever home is, right? And sometimes it might be even something beneath them. And when you get into a loop, which becomes a loop that, because here is, if you don't pay rent in a month, it's not Nigeria you pay rent for one year. So for my idea here is to be real as possible, to make sure that people actually get information and are able to leverage it. This podcast Beyond Borders is not just beyond borders, it is impact beyond borders. That we are I'm saying that you might be in Nigeria and then your impact is felt all over the world. Like you said in that example of you being in Nigeria and then they are calling you somewhere else. That's the mindset I am all about. I'm not saying that you have to be in Europe, in Asia, in America before. So this is the mindset I'm talking about, right? And then they get consumed. And when you are in a loop that, okay, at least this thing pays my rent, gives me food, but then that's still not fulfilled, right? It creates a dissonance, right? And then you are like, that's where we now start talking about depression, about this one, about that one, a lot of things. But it can be curbed, with a lot of strategic planning, right? And that's why I will ask that question again now. During your Erasmus experience, what specific things did you pay attention to that helped you transition into a global career afterward?
I would say just a simple concept, right? Of time and season. You get time and season. So you get an Erasmus scholarship, or you are going to study in Europe for maybe 2 years, right? Your rent, uh, monthly expenses are covered, and like you said, you might get caught up in the excitement of that moment that you forget that you have a journey to make,
Yeah.
right? I think that's some of the challenges that most scholarship holders and even Erasmus students are facing at the moment. What next
Yeah.
after my master's, right? And for me, when I was doing my master's degree, I made sure that I don't disconnect from what I enjoy doing, right?
Hmm.
Most people
Hmm.
just maybe focus on the studies, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong in me
Yes.
learning, fine, right? But I remember even um, at the launch week for my master's degree program, my Erasmus Masters in
Hmm.
Croatia, like my mates were gathered in Croatia. I was in Saudi Arabia. You get so it was really funny because school was going on. I was pursuing what I was interested in, right? And my I think what worked for me was to find a balance because I knew that school were going to
Hmm.
round up, right? But what have I been able to achieve with that duration of time while I was doing my masters, right? So my advice for scholars, for those that are planning to go abroad for studies, right? Make sure you don't get absorbed too much in the studies that you lose or you don't have time to do or enjoy what you love doing because I think I have this phobia for maybe doing a program and my CV still remains the same thing as I entered the program. For example, I used a CV and applied. I got maybe a scholarship, and I rounded up the scholarship, and nothing was added to my CV except maybe the master's degree. There are so many things you can do,
Yes.
so many leadership stuff you can attain, right? And trust me, rounding up my master's degree, I was able to unlock a lot of opportunities, a lot of speaking activities, attended a couple of conferences, right?
Awesome.
I still did not lose touch with my program and my
Yeah.
business back home in Nigeria, right? So
Ah.
when it was when I was done, right, I remember just packing my bags and going back to Nigeria. You get, and most people ask you why to Nigeria, and I was like,
Mhm.
it's better I go to where I know that I can really make the most. And to me, coming back to Nigeria was like a stepping stone to the next phase, right? Because I was
Yeah.
able to work on amazing projects that were really impactful and interesting. Like, imagine one of your projects being experienced or tried on by the Vice President of Nigeria. And it shows how amazing it is. So, just enjoy your journey. There's a time for
Hmm.
everything, there's a season for everything. And when the right time comes to unlock that next level, it will be easy because you have done the work, you have made the impact, and you did not just sit down or stay one place and waiting for it, right? You were working while it
Mhm.
came, and it will now be
Yes.
easy for you to move on to the next step, right? So my advice is try and focus on the concept of time and season. Most times it can be quiet time, most times it can be engaging and interactive, but whatever time you are in, make sure that you are getting better, right? How can I be better for what is coming? You get, how can I be better for the opportunities ahead, right? And when the opportunities come knocking, you already have the skills, you already have the experience, you already have the projects to show that you're really good for it.
Yes, 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 100 times and more. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think, that was one of those things I poured out during the last webinar, which was even recent. It has been in my heart and then just working around it and also even creating a coaching experience out of it for people, really, because we have to curb this don't let me call it menace, but in quote, and really just seeing that this is not the end. This scholarship is not an end in itself. It is
True.
a means to an end, right?
Mm,
And it is supposed to be a launch pad into something great,
yeah,
into you making impact. But if you get locked up in that session, then you now 2 months, 3 months, and that those time you're actually also now asking those questions. It's not as if you'll be free. As if you are working on your thesis, you are doing so a lot of stress is already there, right?
True.
You don't want to add anything to it. So it's you just like that time and season. I really love it. Building daily, weekly, and you just adding to, and you not disconnecting from what you enjoy and also finding balance. And I
Mm.
think all these things actually found in some of those modules we've put together for international students actually to make the most of and maximize it. It's one of it. And of course, my number one module is always around clarity on your why, purpose, and vision. If you can get that right, it propels you into it separates what you so what separates what you will do and what I will do is actually that three things. We can talk about strategies from now till tomorrow, but still, what strategies you will use or strategy you will use and what I will use will be different by what is my why, what is my vision,
Yeah.
right? For me, while I was doing my master's was when I actually opened this YouTube channel, and I was here. It was then I got pregnant, and I was in Greece, so I had
Mm.
my mobility in Greece from Italy to Greece. I was in my third trimester at that point, but I was like nothing can actually stop me, right? And then I made sure that nothing I didn't have any extra time, to say, okay, I was just always I finished my courses before I gave birth. After I gave birth, I wrote my thesis, right? Because I knew what I was, and I was still doing other things.
Mhm.
In leadership, I was the president of BMJ. BMJ is where Irene actually both of us met, right? So I'm still the president right now, and just still doing other things that gives me joy. And that didn't make my academics also drop. I graduated with 110 over 110 Lodi, right? That's the highest you can get in an Italian universities, in a
Mhm.
university rather. So what am I saying is just you being very, very, if you have clarity on that why, on that vision, on your purpose, it propels you, it fuels you. Even times you might think, okay, I don't think I can go again, but where I'm not where I'm supposed to be, right? I was speaking with one graduate of King's College in London, and we were having this conversation on just clarity, because these things are in us, really, sincerely. We
Yeah.
might not put words to them, but maybe sometimes we need an external person to help us draw it out. So I
Yeah.
was asking, I said, for me, I'm convinced that when people are equipped with resources, with tools, with this one, they can read their full potential. So like, you have, like, oh, I might not have these good words to actually talk about my why. I said, don't worry, just tell me that story. And by the end of that conversation, we draw it out. And she was like, wow, I know you will help me, but I didn't know you will help me this much.
Mm.
So, and then after that conversation, she was so energized that don't worry, just load me with whatever things you want me to do. I can do them. Like,
Mm.
you see that level of conviction, and those are things that these things, small things, right? They do for you in your journey, and then you are like, so when you already have this knowledge, you are now able to go into your world and say, okay, I'm not here alone for this. But that doesn't mean, and that's where they find the balance, and that's why left it still there also
Mm.
comes in. How do I make sure? And that was the second module. Like, what do I do for every season? What do I do? And make sure that all of them, nothing really suffers, right? And yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm super grateful. Okay, our time is running. But um I would also love to hear about this. For on LinkedIn, I know that you have amassed some level of followership, right? So, how did you start positioning yourself as a thought leader and builder in emerging tech? For someone that it might not be, maybe some of those listening might not say, okay, might not be in the same field, but in their own field, how can they learn and glean from some of these things you've talked or you worked, right? And say, okay, let me also do that in my own industry. Yeah. Thank you.
I think I will just share three concepts that helped me. right? First one is understand your space, right?
Mm,
Understand the terminology, understand the knowledge that are required in your space and in your sector, right? Make
mm,
sure that you're grounded on how it works, not just your interest, but understanding how it works, how the system is structured and set up per se. And then the second one will be just share your story. You get
mm.
the world is looking for people that are doing amazing stuff and
Yeah.
connect to stories. Right? People connect and relate to stories. And if you overcome that imposter syndrome that you're not good enough, right, you'll be the best. Trust me. Don't forget about the whole stress of being on LinkedIn, right? Just know that you're on the platform to share your voice. You're on the
Mm,
platform to share your journey, and
mm,
people will connect, people will resonate with you, and they will reach out. You get.
mm.
I usually have this theory that you might not know, but people are watching, but they are
Yeah.
waiting for the right time and the right activity and the right project to connect. But what if the moment when they want to connect, you do not show up? You get. So just keep showing, keep sharing what you're doing. Right? They might not see it now, but you are building that public profile, that public validation related to your work. And the last tip is be around communities. You get.
Mm,
My journey was was tasting by being around communities, and that really helped me a lot because I was able to be around some of these experts and professionals, and in those communities, that's where you now get access to them, right?
mm.
Most times, most of them work for top companies, and even LinkedIn cannot even help you connect to them, right? But in those communities and those community events, you can connect to them, you can share projects or your journeys with them, and they can give you feedback, right? So always make sure that you're around good communities that can help you grow. And just to add an extra tip to that, I think to add to the point you were mentioning earlier, is the power of self affirmations, right? Just keep telling yourself you're good at what you do, right? That you are the best at what you do, right? And you're gonna get better. Self affirmations are very important, and
Yeah.
try as much as possible to disconnect yourself from negative energies, right? From people that say, "Oh, this country is hard" or "this country is tough." People are building houses, right? People are buying cars. You get.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that they have three heads or five heads. No, right? They are leveraging on what they know how to do best, and opportunities are coming towards them. Right? So, but if you're in a space or in a group where everybody's complaining, before you know, yourself you start complaining. You get. So be around people that inspire you to be better, right? And
Mm.
it will open you up to more opportunities and see that you can really do a lot of stuff if you believe.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Because of time, I will just not reiterate anything. I hope they picked it as you were just throwing it like that. Yeah. So, but just a follow up on that before I go to AI, because I wanted to ask on communities, which you have talked about. But then, how do we find this kind of community? Because you said, okay, even sometimes LinkedIn might not even help you see this thing. So I want you to expand on that thought on what you meant by community, and then some of these things, especially as it relates to career. Where and how do you suggest we go about that?
I think I would say as simple as Google, right? Because
Hmm.
even today I was still looking for communities to be a part of, right? So just go on Google, right? Look for or type in your space, and you could just add the keyword communities around it. That would give you
Hmm.
access to both African-based communities and global communities. And funny enough, some of these communities are free. Some of them
Hmm.
you can join by just filling a form, and before you
Hmm.
know, you start receiving newsletters, community invite event to their events, right? So just imagine you are in you are the best in your space and you want to connect with others, right?
Hmm.
Go on Google, do the search, and you will see communities that relate to what you're doing, right? You can follow them on LinkedIn, follow their websites, but make sure you document some of these communities and you'll be able to follow up with them later on. But just do your search and have like a database where you document these communities and follow their activities.
Oh my
Very
God. Okay. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so much for all these tips you've given us today. Yeah, so find communities on Google, type your field and put that same or community, whether global or African based, and then have a database to follow up.
Mm,
Right. And I think just to add to what you said, of course, you said some of them are free, but there are also times that you might have to pay for some membership. Don't don't be stingy on yourself. Rather, exposure comes in different. There are some because of the caliber of people they want to make sure, and that money is not even can never be compared to what we gain from them. Whether it's from the knowledge or from that connection and access. So yeah, there are some this last month. Yeah, last month. Oh, we're even in new month. Last month I was in a leadership conference that brought about together a lot of people from different places. It wasn't free, right? So just get comfortable with buying the truth and not selling it. Then you will know a lot of changes in your journey. So I think this the last segment. I just want to ask around. Let me just pick one. Um, Okay, so as someone working at the intersection of AI, XR, education, I want you to talk to two things. What excites you about the future of AI, right? And because of course we know this thing has come to stay. We even have people studying it. Someone is sitting in front of me right now, you know, still researching around this, and a lot of good work is being done. And we've seen how this thing is actually transforming the way we do things, the way we live, the way we play, the way we work, right? So this thing has come to stay. But what excites you about it? And then how do you think AI will transform work, education, entrepreneurship in Africa and the global stage? And then if you can just in application as well, right? What is the role of AI also in research? You are a researcher yourself. He's doing his PhD. If I didn't announce that or you didn't get it very well right now. So where do we stand in all of this?
I would say interesting times ahead, right?
Awesome.
Very big things are coming up. But I think tech is an enabler, and it should not silence our voice as creators and as creatives. So no matter what you're doing, make sure that you are leveraging on it to support and not to replace your creative thinking. You get
Mm,
so advice for people is especially in academia, right? AI is it's encouraged in academia, but it should not replace your critical thinking and critical understanding. And for research, I believe it's just a tool to enable maybe faster literature search or faster literature um, review processes, but does not replace the critical thinking in writing an academic research paper.
yeah.
And for Africa, I feel we are blessed already. You get, I think we already had like AI before the real AI came. You get, but for Africa, it's a lot of upskilling that is required. We don't have the required infrastructure or resources in the Western world, but
Mhm.
we have people that are really hungry for knowledge, hungry for talents and skills, and we have the opportunity to reskill and to train them. And so for even us, for us at our initiative, our goal is to see how we can train as much people every year to get started with AI and augmented reality because they need to match up with the talents globally. And
Mm,
also, we believe in the coming years, especially in the workspace, AI skills is a must, right? You must know how to use certain AI tools and platforms, right? It's no longer, oh, I'm scared of AI anymore. No, but how can you leverage on AI to create like automations and tools that will make your work faster and easier, right? So employers are looking for talents that have AI skills, both creating agentic systems or maybe leveraged on large language models, right? So try as much as possible to understand some of these concepts and how they work. And even in your application, you can leverage on AI to brainstorm on certain things to gather a lot of resources related to the program, but that
mm.
should replace your thought. process and your writing process, we have gotten to the stage that everybody now has, and everybody now basically is an AI checker, right? Because we already know and can understand or see when the text is written with AI, right? It now shows, it basically shows that when people see quality content or quality writings that
Mm,
are pure passion and pure interest, they will appreciate it than just seeing somebody that just went to ChatGPT, asked it for something, and even forgot to delete the here is your response to your page. Yeah, yeah. So AI should replace our thought processes and our thinking. It can help us to be better,
mm.
right? But we should try as much as possible to start the process and leverage on AI to support it, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. And yes, so it's a tool to leverage, not to replace all your creative thinking and um, yes, and ideas, and also taking over your voice. So yeah, thank you so much, for that. So if someone is saying, how can I connect with you? I want us to wrap up because of our time. So I want you to give like a final thing that you think maybe you had in mind, that okay, I wanted to talk on this thing, but I really didn't ask, and you think they will actually need, right? Because yeah, we are here for that transformation, for them to gain what they will need for that next level, right? Please, I want you to talk to that, and just share also your vision, really, what we should be looking out from you in the next couple of weeks, days, right? And then how can we actually connect with you? Yeah, you can talk to that. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. So
Yeah,
first,
and we actually have some questions. Okay, maybe when you are done. Yeah.
okay. I think first of all, say thank you for the opportunity, right? I know what it takes to set up something, and most times to be like you're just doing it alone, right? But trust me, most times somebody might stumble on your videos. You will not know, but watching those videos help them to achieve something. They might not come and say thank you, but the universe has already acknowledged that you have done something impactful in their lives, right? So
Yeah.
my thoughts to you is to keep at it, right? It's just
Thank you.
a matter of time, and the world already knows you, right? But the impact will be felt the most. And
Amen.
for anyone listening, the best way to connect with me will be on LinkedIn, right? At Arome Ibrahim, you can search for me there, and maybe follow me on Twitter at Arome Ibrahim too. But I'm mostly active on LinkedIn. And then my closing advice would be, um, I can understand that life can be tough, right? Life can be slow, and you reach a stage where you start comparing yourself to others, right? Trust me, I've been there, right? And I understand what it really feels to maybe not to be moving as fast as possible, but understand that everybody has a journey, right? And there's this Nigerian quote that the person that first the person that first built a house built an old house, right? Because
Mm.
when you build your own, it's a new house,
It's not
and
you. Yes.
already already built an old house, right? So enjoy your journey, right? Know
Mhm.
that it's a journey of time and season, and make sure that you can portray or show the world that, oh, I might be here, but this is what I'm doing. This is the impact
Yeah.
I'm making, right?
Yeah.
And it will really help you to position for global opportunities, right? But
Mm.
if you don't decide to start, you might never start, right? So just start, no matter how small, even if it's taking a course, being part of a community, volunteering, just start, and with time, you would achieve your goals and your dreams.
Thank you so much. This is where we should have paused it, but I forgot that we have some two questions from Iriolua, and I want you to just quickly, answer that, and then we call it a day. Um, so he asked that much more than academics learnings. What other opportunities are there to maximize out of these programs? And the second one, also from him, he said, my friends talk of being burnt out midway into the program. Was this your experience, and how does one guard against it? I think we mentioned a lot of things around it, but if you still have an additional thought, awesome.
Yeah, I think for the burnout is most times they might be doing it alone or not surrounding themselves with good friends and support system, right? So make sure you have a good support system that can really help you. And there's no harm in being vulnerable. Vulnerable in terms of opening up to somebody and saying, "Oh, I'm going through a lot. I don't understand what I'm learning." Right? I remember my first semester, I was really struggling with an accounting course, and I remember emailing the professor. I was like, I don't understand what I'm learning, or like it's taking me to where I don't know, right?" And he gave me some good tips and some good feedback, right? So we should try as much as possible not to be too hard on ourselves,
Mhm.
right? Enjoy the journeys and the learning processes. And I think most times the Europeans or the Westerners are very good at it. Like they
Yes.
just have fun, they enjoy themselves, and funny enough, they come out with good results. You get it's
Uh-huh.
because they understand that life is a balance. You can study, you can have fun at the same time, right? So just find that balance. Have a good support system around your learning journey. Don't just
Mm.
suffer and say, "Oh, I'm going to change my number. I don't want to connect with anybody in Nigeria." Right? You don't know those people in Nigeria are your support system, and they will help you to transition through whatever you are going through abroad, because it's
Mhm.
very lonely and it can be very stressful and to the extent of being at the point of depression, right? But if you have
Mm.
people that support you, that you can rant to and tell them what you're going through, right? You will definitely overcome your challenges. And as regards opportunities beyond academia, trust me, there are a lot of opportunities. Even in your school, if you eventually go abroad, your schools have programs, they have activities and initiatives. For me, wherever I go, the first thing I try to do is what programs are revolving around that vicinity, right? How
Mhm.
can I be part of it? How can I volunteer? How can I become a member? How can I
Mm.
maybe be part of the leadership, right? So
Mm.
find activities and initiatives around your vicinity. Most of them are
Mm.
free, most of them can be paid, but have that goal to make an impact on yourself and on your journey, not just being in the academic setting. Like go to school, come back, go to school, come back. No. You can take classes. After classes, you can maybe volunteer for programs and activities around school.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for doing this. And I won't just want to waste your time, further. And I think, yes, this is where we bring this edition, to a close. Thank you for the insight shared, the knowledge, the wisdom that cannot be gotten on the streets. This is more or less like a master class, and I'm really grateful for you doing this. Though maybe in the near future we can bring you back to now talk to us on entrepreneurship and business. Yeah, we can schedule that, but yeah, I will just connect with you on that, because again, also the other part is also, even why they are in Nigeria, which I think you actually had a business before you left, right?
Yeah.
My mindset is not all of us will stay in outside of Nigeria. Some of
Mhm.
us will still be wherever we are, and beyond borders is not only for scholars as well. So there's another segment for entrepreneurship, because it's
Yeah.
still a tool for national development, right? And it's us just seeing a problem and being a solution to it. That's
Mm.
all, right? So we've had two edition in that. Maybe let's see when we can have you, and then it will be some entrepreneurship. Youth can also now start seeing and having a lens to actually scan the environment. Where can I bring my juniors to actually bring to play in my environment. That is my goal. That's it. And I'm super grateful to you, for doing this with me. So thank you so much. And
Thanks
yeah,
for having me.
that will be it. So ciao, ciao, everyone. Bye. Thank you for joining.